Hello. Last time on our tutorial, we were given a detail of an architectural, or not architectural, but structural foundation, and we drew this in AutoCAD. Let me put this aside. When we drew this in AutoCAD, we only use one layer called Pen 1. We learned how to hatch, we learned how to put a V-bar using donut, and we learned how to make a thick line using a P-line with a global width. We attached or we applied a hatch of a user-defined hatch for the CMU, and we also applied a concrete hatch for anytime anywhere that we have a concrete. And we're now going to use this for our structural. So let's save this first, and let's go ahead and open our structural file called S preliminary site ground. So S meaning structural. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a copy of this layout. Okay. So to create a copy of this layout, you're going to go here, right click on the S1, and you're going to do a move or copy. And you're going to check to create a copy, and you're going to click the layout where you want this to go before. So we want it to go before layout 2, so we're going to click layout 2. Then we're going to click OK. And you can see now here that this is now called S-1 parentheses 2. We're going to right click on it and we're going to rename, and we're going to call it S2. Okay, so right click, rename, and then S minus 2 or S-2. Press enter. Okay, now it's S-2. Click on it. It's exactly the same as S1. Okay, we're now going to double click the sheet number and replace the one with the 2. And we are also going to update the sheet title. Okay, it will not have ground floors or framing floors. This will now be structural details. Structural details. There you go. Okay. Everything else looks the same. We may need to update the date. Today is, oh, we'll leave it at 25th. Okay. And then I will basically move everything here outside. So we are going to first turn on our viewport, and then we're going to do the move, and we are going to move everything just to the outside of the paper. Okay, so everything is moved outside of the paper. When I give you this title block, you can see that there are these little lines here, and these little lines, okay, on each side are for us to use as a guide. Okay, and let's switch to layer viewport. To draw these lines, and these lines are divisions on where to put our details. So each of these lines will form a rectangle, and this rectangle, inside each rectangle is one detail. A detail might be big enough that requires two rectangles, and that's okay. Next, we are going to create a layer called Xref detail. So we're going to click layer properties, and we're going to create I think I created this one already. Yeah, Xref detail, and the color is 1. So we already have this layer. I'll create one, close that, pull this down, and switch to that layer. And we are now going to Xref SDET-01. Let's go back to that one first. And let us verify our units. So the units. Okay, our units is architectural. If it was decimal, now is the time to change it to architectural. Okay, and then save that. Go to the prelim again. And then we want to do an Xref or insert the detail file here. So that's why we created a layer called Xref detail. And before that, let's do a DD units and let us make sure that when we insert something, that the insertion scale is always in inches. Okay. If you have this as feet, you're going to have a problem. Okay. When you insert that in feet. Okay. So if I do an Xref and I Xref attach a drawing and you're going to attach the detail one, you can see that the unit will be inserted and the scale factor is 0.8. Okay. Now we want this to be a scale factor of 1. When we insert something, it's 1. And this will not be 1 because the unit of your drawing is in inches and the unit of insertion is in feet. So we have to cancel and then make sure that you type in DD units and make sure that your insertion scale is set to the same units as you drew your detail, which is in inches. Feet is when you put in like 1.5 feet. Okay. So if you use 1.5 feet, then your units are in feet. But if you put in 1 foot and 6 inches, then that is not feet. That is inches because you put in 1 feet, 1 foot and 6 inches. So you want to always put in 1 foot and 6 inches. The insertion scale is in inches. So make sure that your DD units is set to the insertion scale of inches. Click OK so that when you do an XREF and then attach a drawing and select your detail, it should give us a scale factor of 1. Okay, very, very important. When you click OK, we drew the drawing as 1:1. Therefore, 6 inches will really look like 6 inches. There you go. Okay, 6 inches will look like 6 inches. So now we want to put or scale this drawing so it fits this um, rectangle. So to do that, we are going to click the Xref and we are going to go to the properties. We won't need this anymore, so we just click close and look at the scale factor here. Okay, and the scale factor is basically 1. If you want it to fit onto this drawing, you will have to scale it down um, with an appropriate scale factor for both x, y, and z. So let me pull up our scale factor table. Here's our scale factor table, and this is imperial, so feet and inches. Details usually start at 3 inch is to a foot. That's a big drawing. We are using a 1/8 inch to a foot for our floor plan, and that's for medium-sized buildings. For very, very large buildings where it won't fit into our big paper, a plan could go as small as 1/16 to an inch. But for details, we start at 3 inch, then we go down to a smaller one to about 1.5 inch to a foot or 1 inch to a foot. Okay. This one is maybe too small already, 3/4 to a foot, but some details may choose to be drawn this way. So in order for us to draw our detail correctly and fit inside paper, we have to use one of these scales. And the scale factor for each of these are these numbers. These are what you're going to divide your drawing to go into this scale. Because we did our drawings at always 1:1. So if I divide my drawing by 4, then the scale that I'm using is 3 inch to a foot. If I divide my drawing to an 8, then the scale that I'm using is 1.5 inch to a foot. Okay, so that's what we see over here. Okay, 1/4, 1/8, 1/12. And these are viewport scale because we also use this for viewport scaling. In AutoCAD nowadays, you can just choose a viewport scale. So you can see this is the actual drawing, 1:1. And if we want this drawing to fit into the sheet, we can't do a 1:1. We have to scale it down. Okay. So if we go back to our scale factor table, the one of the biggest detail scale that we can use is 3 inches to a foot. And if we use 3 inches to a foot, then we have to divide the drawing by 4, or the scale factor is 1/4. So if we go back here and I select my drawing and change the property scale to a 1/4 on your X, Y, and Z, then the drawing will become small, right? So what is the scale of this drawing? Well, the scale of this drawing, because we divided by 4, is 3 inches to a foot, okay? But as you can see here, this drawing still is too big. It is more than 2 boxes high. And unless it's a base section is like a section of the building from the first floor to the second floor to the roof. We don't want this drawing to be this big. So we want to scale it down even more. So if we go back to our scale factor table, the next usual scale is 1.5 inch to a foot, and we have to do a 1/8 instead of 1/4. So if we go back here, and then we change this to a 1/8, 1/8, and 1/8. And you can see now it fits the 2 boxes tall. So I can just move it like that, okay? And I can just move this viewport line over here. There you go. So this would be my detail box for the detail given to us by the engineer, okay? And what is the scale of this one? Well, we scaled it down to dividing it by an eighth, and the scale of that one, when we divide it into an eighth, is 1.5 inches to a foot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to get one of these, and we're going to simply copy this. That's why I put this on the side, so we can copy this. And we're going to move that somewhere. Let's move it first over here. And we're going to erase this, and we're going to um, label this detail, got an S, and we're going to stretch this so it fits the paper. I want to go into a ortho, and this one is now 1.5. So 1 and 1/2 inches to a foot. So that's 1.5. Okay. And this drawing is not one, but not two, but number one. So I'm going to just simply move this now into the box. So this is a detail. And some firms would want to put further or name this more precise, like footing detail, so or foundation detail. Okay, so they would put in footing detail. Okay, and this may be too big for this detail. What is the size of this text? It's a half. So we may want to go down to a quarter. Okay, so footing detail, and that's the detail that we want. Okay, so you have to know how to scale down your drawing and what scale is it going to be if you use these numbers, these scale factors. Okay, if you divided it by 8, 1/8, then the scale is 1 1/2. If you divide it by 4, the scale is 3 inch. If you divide it by 12, it becomes 1 inch to a foot. Okay, so these are where your details live. The biggest one is 3 inches to a foot, and typically we're going to use this sometime when we go back to architectural. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to include this scale factor table on the module so you can refer to this whenever you need to. Okay, So now that we have that, we can now put in the dimensions and some notes. Okay. Um, Now, the scale or the detail that refers to must also be tagged in the floor plan. Okay, so this is a CMU wall, and the CMU walls on our floor plan are on this side. Okay, so this would be tagged maybe somewhere here, okay, or somewhere here. It doesn't matter where. So what we could do is we can now create our own tag uh, that would point to um, the location of where this detail was cut. Okay, so we can create a new layer, and we're going to call it S tag, and the color of that tag can be just green for now. Okay. And green is not green. Green means it's a certain thickness, if you remember your pen color assignments. So what we're going to do, there are different styles of cutting this. And usually what we do is we use the same box here, but this may be too big. Anyway, let's let's just all copy. So I'm going to select this and then do a right click and then clipboard copy. Go back to S1 and then do a, oh well, it's already here. Right click paste. Right, it's the same size as this one. Okay, and you can see it's too big, so we're going to scale it down. So we're going to do an SC for scale, and we're going to scale it 0.5. Okay, and that will be tagged. We will tag that here. Just put it there. Okay, so we're going to tag that here. We don't want this to be too big or too long, so we're going to bring that down or back here. Okay, so that's detail one. I'm looking at this one this way, and so I will simply do a line going up here and then going down here. And this tag, I'm going to select everything and make sure that the layer is on S tag here. Okay, S tag. I forgot to change this S tag. Okay, and then what sheet is this supposed to be on? So I'm just gonna copy this and bring it down and put in the sheet number S-2. That's where this sheet or this detail can be found. Okay, it's detail number 1 on S-2. So that's the detail that I'm cutting right now. So that's how to tag it, and then go back to S2, and that's what the detail cut of that footing is going to look like. And you're now ready to begin. And you remember that we Xref this from a separate file. Let's go ahead and save this, and let's open that detail. So open, and that was the S detail one. And if you wanted to change your detail, so for example, okay, um, the underside of the slab actually has some rocks, okay, which we call an aggregate base, and it doesn't show here. So if you wanted to modify this, you need to open up the detail where you drew it on, okay, and let's say, let's put some aggregate base there, and we're going to do a line here temporarily. Okay, and then do now P line from, say, here. And we know that this is going to be soil or earth. So we're going to just do a BH, click here, press OK, match property, select this, and put it back there. But inside here, we need to put in some rocks. So we're going to do another VH. This time we have to get our pattern and then find your rocks pattern here. I forgot what, here, gravel. Click gravel. Point it here, okay? And then you may want to change the scale. That's too dense. You may want to change it to like 4, okay? And then if you're happy with that one, just click OK, and then erase your boundary. And that's what's going to look like when you save it, just like we did on our base sheets. When you open this drawing, uh, it will tell you, hey, you changed the DET, so you can click that one and it will automatically change. If it doesn't automatically change for you or this one doesn't appear here, remember you can type in Xref. You can click on your detail and then you can right click and then do a reload. Okay, if the pop-up here does not appear, so that's how to upload it. Okay, now uh, let's do a quick preview of what this looks like, and this is what the detail will look like. Um, Typically, engineers they don't really um, up, put time and effort in making this look pleasing or aesthetic. Architectural details are different, on the other hand. Okay, so it could be simply um, one color, just like we did before. But in architectural details, you're going to have different line or layers because architectural details typically will use different pens, whereas an engineer will just use one pen. And that's how they simply do it. Okay. Uh, I see that I don't want to see this line here. Okay, so we'll just press escape, go back to my detail, and then go back here and erase this line, and then save it. Okay, go back to my detail sheet, and then reload. You can right click also here and click reload. That line, you say yes, and the line is gone and it's updated. Okay, so we are now going to put in the details of measurements and notes according to what the detail look like. So let me get and open it. Here's the detail that we copied our detail from. Let's just put that on the side here. And then I'm going to reduce my AutoCAD window here so I can see the detail. I'll close the Xref file. And then I'm going to put in this detail notes. Um, I may need to reduce this a little bit. There you go. Okay, so back in the day, they would put all these measurements as part of the detail drawing. Okay, and the reason behind that one is um, they have a collection of details and they simply just insert those details in those sheets at a particular scale every single time. So you can still do it that way, but um, it depends on the firm. So what we're going to do, instead of putting in this detail or the notes here, where you have to change the scale factor of each text depending on the size, we're simply going to um, create the detail on one sheet and then apply all your notes and measurements as part of the detail sheet. Okay, so here we're just simply going to put a measurement that says this is 24 inches. I'm going to grab this. I'll click this endpoint here and click this endpoint here and put that over here. Now this height is not 24 feet, it's actually 24 inches. So if we click on this one and go to the dimension here on dim scale, okay, um, it says that our dim scale for linears are 96, okay, and so we're going to change that. If we did 1 and press enter, we are going to get 3 inches. So this one is 3 inch, but we want that to be 24, right? So how can we make this 24 inches? Well, we multiply this by what number? By 3 times 8, right? Yeah. So our scale factor will need to be changed so that this becomes uh, 8 times as big. No, yes, 8 times as big. So here, if we change this number to 8, enter, we're going to have 2 feet. And 2 feet is 24 inches. If you want this to be displayed in inches, okay, what you need to do is you need to click this and then go down to your primary units. Uh, this is a format for an architectural system, but because you want it to be in inches, you're going to leave this, put this into decimal. You want to remove all the zeros, so you want to suppress the trailing zeros to yes. The precision should be 0, okay, 0. And then you want to add a suffix, and the suffix is inch. Press enter. There you go. So this is a press escape. This would be how you can display your dimensions in inches. Okay, let's look at the other drawings here. We want this to be, this is supposed to be 16 inches, so we're going to do another dimension. Click here and go down, and then simply click and match the property of this dimension to go here. Okay, and then this is also 16 inches. So scale, I mean dimension, and click this to this and put it here. Okay, and then the cover is 3 inches, so we want again from here to somewhere here. You wanna, I'm just gonna remove my O snap. Is this one? No. O snap. Show snapping reference to the reference. Where's my O snap? I don't have my keyboard, so I'm just gonna put it here and drag it here. And then force this. You can also force this, double click and delete that and force this to say 3 inches. Press enter. Oh, no, press outside. There you go. Well, we're going to match property of this one and that one. There's a cover on this side. We also want a cover from this corner to somewhere here, and my O snap is clicking. So I'm just gonna click somewhere here and then drag it down here and double click it and type in delete and press 3 inches. Press enter. Oh, click outside. There you go. So that's how to put the cover to 3 inches. So 3 inches, 3 inches. So again, if you don't want just to this one to overlap, then you need to like modify your, so let's do a preview and let's just check. Yeah, so if you don't want the 3 inches uh, to be on top of this earth fill, then you may want to modify again your hatch. So let's just do that. Let's just do this, and we just want to move this away. Okay, and let's do the P line here. PL. And start here, and then go here, and then go here. And then do a BH, click this, and then do a match property, this and that one, erase that, and this one too, and then save this, and then go back and reload, and there you have it. Okay, so it's now clear, 3 inch, 3 inch, it's an earth fill. We can now move this a little bit closer here. There you go. Okay, so that's for the dimension. I don't think we left anything. We just now have to put in the leaders. Okay, so so we're going to um, do a leader here, and we're going to point to this CMU wall using a nearest, and we're going to do that and type in CMU C plan. Okay, it doesn't say that here, and then let's modify this. The text height of this one is supposed to be an 8. Text here height is an 8, and we want this one is also an 8. I believe text is also an 8, so we're just going to match property this with that one. They didn't accept that, so we have to check on our text style into the ARCH75. There you go. Okay, because this is a dimension text and that's an ordinary text. Does seem to be big and not an 8. Oh, the height is 3/16, so let's make it a little bit smaller. 1/8. There you go. Okay. There is a way to change into a uh, curve leader, but we'll reserve that on another detail. So let's just continue this and put an arrow on the rebar, and you always wanted to match the uh, corner of where it breaks to the horizontal, and we're going to now type in number 4 at 48 inch O period C period vertical. Okay, close, and then match property. There you go. Okay, so we don't need to always do a match property. When we click this one here, when we click this, we can immediately change the style over here, and change the style to or we have to create a style, so we can select it here. Okay, right now that's called standard. Okay, and we're just changing it here. Anyway, we can just do a match property, but you can always do a dimension style, just like you can do a leader style, just like you did on a dimension style. Okay, so the next one, you see a number 5 here, so we'll do this point somewhere here, and then hover over here, but don't click, and then bring it down. Whoop, bring it. There you go. Bring it down. Click there and type in number 5, and then that has like the word CONT, which means continuous. Okay, press outside, and then let's do a match properly. Okay, then here slab C foundation plan for details. So same thing here. We're gonna do a nearest. Uh, this time, because it's too far from here, we can now create a new one and then put in slab C foundation plan for details. Press, not press, press close, and then match property. Go, and then you can make this adjustment on how you see this best fit. Okay, and then here you see a number 3 at 12 inches and center. You can always copy like this one. So let's try that. We're going to copy this and point here, drag it here, and then point here, and then drag this here. Oh, yeah, drag this here, and then drag this little triangle out. There you go. And then double click to modify and put a number 3 at 12 inches. O period C period 1 center. O period C period. Okay. And then this last one, 3 number 5. He's going to copy again this one here and bring it down here. Put this pointed to here and put in, delete that and put in 3 number 5 and then CONT, continuous. Okay, there you go. I think that covers everything. We're not going to put this 3-inch here because it's understood that this is a cover 3-inch, 3-inch. But if you do must put it, then you can just put dimension there. Anyway, that's our footing detail. Let's try to sort of center the whole thing. There you go. And we're going to save that file. And that's basically how to do a detail. So what you are going to do for your as part of your assignment is oh, I lost it. It's over here. There you go. You are going to create a detail based on this drawing and add that to your drawing here. So remember that you create a new file, make sure the units are in inches, draw it again, and then put that as an extra file with all the measurements that you see here. This is 3/0, 1 foot. This is 8-inch. This is 12-inch. Total is 12-inch. So uh, draw this in AutoCAD and then Xref that. It might take you 2 boxes just like this one, and you're going to label this too. So you're going to simply copy this and then drag it here and label this number 2 and also move this, put this here, and put the Xref of that detail that I showed you. So you're gonna put that detail that I showed you here, and don't forget to um, go back to your S1 and make sure you create another tag somewhere here or here. So it doesn't matter where, as long as you have two of these. This is ready for one S2, and since I'm asking you to do another one, you're going to label or put this as S2, and you're going to indicate that on your foundation plan. Okay, it doesn't matter where. So you put it here, you put it here, it doesn't matter as long as I see that there's 1-2. Okay, so this will be part of your assignment that you will submit for this week's module.